Got you in the grill pit. Could you please tell our audience your name?
My name is Antonio Espinosa, and I got something to say.
Oh, you're in the right place. You're in the right place, man. I like that saucy attitude you have. Let's see. Let's go. Could you tell us why you're here today?
I'm here today because you invited me. I'm here today because I'm so happy that you did invite me. We know each other through our past, and I'm happy to be here and having a conversation with you. And, the conversation is going to be about incarceration and, the journey of that I was in as an officer and the way how, corrections changed me and my perception about what corrections was in the beginning and how I got to feel about it towards the ending of my career there.
So you said a lot in that comment. What was your profession prior? Could you tell me?
Well, I came down to Minnesota in 2001. I'm originally from New York City, South Bronx, New York.
What up?
You know what I'm saying? Straight up, Hunts Point, Sullivan Boulevard, Tiffany. That's my joint right there.
Okay. Representing.
I'm representing. I'm not from Minnesota. I live here now for over 21 years. Minnesota has been my home, but my heart lies in New York City, straight up, South Bronx.
Okay. And what brought you from the South Bronx to Minnesota?
Another tragedy that happened in New York City. Our towers, we were under attack, and our towers were blown up, and people died, and a lot of tragedy happened in New York City. Twin Towers came down, and I was looking for a way to. At that time, I was married to my first wife, and I had my first child, and my second child was on the way, and I was looking for a place for me to move where it would be a bit more safer and try to find a career that I could do. And I've been working as a peace officer in New York City for about 14 years, and it was time for me to make a transition, and I was lucky enough to come out to Minnesota, took the test and had an interview and everything else, and was asked, if I wanted a job, and it was just the right time. So I left my home, my hometown, my people, my food, I left my music, I left all that, just for a better opportunity for me to provide for my family and start a new journey in my life.
How long were you with the DLC? How many years?
I worked with the DOC for 19 and a half years exactly.
19 and a half years?
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of stuff in those 19 and a half years.
Yeah, I seen some bad stuff, and I had some good moments too, you know what I'm saying? Prison wasn't, all bad, there were some good moments.
What were some good moments? Can you give us an experience that you... Because a lot of people say, prisons is bad and all this other stuff. So when you say there was good moments, how would a good moment look for you?
A good moment would be having a conversation with a fella, you know what I'm saying? And kicking it with them, and them getting to know who I was, and me getting to know who they were, you know what I'm saying? Everyone who's incarcerated has a story, and, and everyone has a story, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I have a story. Yeah. You have a story. We all have a story. And it's unique. And some of it has a lot of pain and suffering, and that's why a lot of people are, unfortunately, get caught up in a system like prison or jail, and they want to be heard, they want to be loved, they want to be recognized. Mm-hmm. And some people are too broken, you know what I'm saying, too angry.
Right.
Where, it's hard to pass, to get into a space of conversation of any kind with people, and they just standoffish and they're just broken.
So I've been incarcerated. Everybody knows that story. And you seem to separate yourself and be a different type of CO. What made you different? Like, you seem to be more, like you said, crossing the line, more empathetic to a situation. More, what was that, home training? Was that just you could see those inmates as being you? What made you different, a different CO?
My story.
Tell us your story.
My story is I grew up without a father. I grew up in the hood, in poverty. I didn't like school very much. I passed, I got my high school diploma, but I never really tried to go for anything else because I didn't know how to, or I just didn't like school. So after high school, I just kept on working, and got a job and was basically working. My story goes into drug addiction. I was cocaine addicted for over 7 years in my past. Between cocaine to crack to all that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I could relate to a lot of men in there about substance abuse and alcohol. My story goes, in the hood. I mean, like I wasn't. My mom didn't let me hang out so hard where I could be, in the street like that. You know what I'm saying? But when I was able to, be older and everything else, I did what I did what I did, mm-hmm. and it was hanging out with folks. And my thing was more music. You know what I'm saying? Dancing, music, fashion, and work. But I got involved with crack cocaine in my past, and it was an experience that led me in dark spaces. Dealing with people who I shouldn't have been, dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And, situations that could have got me into deeper problems or losing my life. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. So what brought you out of that? Was it rehab? Was it just waking up? What brought you?
Man, family, friends, community, who came out and helped me through all that. Getting me back into the gym. Getting me into positive things. Myself too. My will to change. You have to have a will to change. You could bring a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was willing to change, and change is hard. And finding that change is difficult. And accepting change. You know what I'm saying? And so my will to change, my family, and time. And I was able to move away from that, and I was able to reflect, and see people that I knew when I was hanging out, and females and dudes, people passing because of intravenous drugs or dope and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? People getting locked up for a good time, and that could have been me. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. So you do the 19 and a half, and in Minnesota DOC, you see a lot of transition, a lot of change. You come in. What was your impression of being a CO when you first started? Like that first day you went in, where you weren't. It takes growth to get to where you're at right now. So did you have the same understanding, or were you more, I'm going to follow the books? How were you the first day?
So before all that, my perception about incarceration. I was a peace officer before I came to Minnesota. So I did that for a while, about 15 years. I worked for a private organization, and they had like 175 buildings, so we were the policing of that community. And so, so I was on the beat. I've always done, like that security, policing kind of a job, you know what I'm saying? And so, okay, and then, seeing TV and seeing CSI and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Magnum PI and all this good stuff. Getting that idea of what it is, but never going into a prison system and working with guys, just working on the outside. So it gave me an opportunity to this 9/11 thing gave me that opportunity to move into a different space, right? And when I started to do this work, it was totally different. It was more. I felt like it was more like babysitting. You know what I'm saying? People, keep making sure that everything's safe and secure. People doing what they're supposed to be doing, stopping things when it gets crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the job is, pretty much easy. It's a relationship type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's talking to people,
Right?
And trying to understand people's frustration. And trying to make them understand. How can they see this journey that they're going through on a positive tip instead of it being negative.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I've always thought like that, trying to make a negative thing into a positive.
Okay.
So, my interactions with a lot of fellas over at Stillwater Prison has always been, about change, about reflection about who you are. And if you did it this way, what you think would happen. You say, how would you get further, or would you go backwards? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, making people try to see themselves in a different way.
Right. That's very important. So I guess that was instrumental in like the programming that you decided to go with. Like I think you said Stand Up was one of the programs that you were in.
Yeah. So Stand Up was one of the first programs that I was interacting with the population. It was a program that was created by a lifer who's still there.
Who is it? What was the lifer's last name?
His name is Lynch.
Oh yeah, yep.
And he's a very smart dude. You know what I'm saying? He did everything the way it was supposed to, and he gave me this paperwork because it was he gave me his program, this paperwork, and it wasn't moving nowhere within the system. At Stillwater, and I was fortunate enough to be invited to central office for a conversation with some folks out there, and I told them, give it to me. I'm gonna take it to central office, see what I could do with this. And it became a pilot, and it went for three sessions, and then we had 9/11. COVID-19,
mm-hmm.
and then it stopped. You know what I'm saying? But Stand Up was a program that we had about 25 guys, and we had some officers and nurses and staff members, co-facilitating a conversation about, different things that, men who are incarcerated have been through in their life on the outside. And even myself, because, the conversations that they're talking about, I'm like, I did that shit. I was part of that too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't get caught. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To that level, So I could relate to that. I was motivated to do more because that was me. That was my story too.
Right.
I could relate with you. I was there. You know what I'm saying? It was really good. It was a good program. I'm hoping that it gets started up again because it's beneficial for a lot of people who need that community. You know what I'm saying? It created a community.
Yeah, it's important.
Of people, just for them to see and understand that we're no different. Me and you are no different. It's just the choices that we make every day. When we wake up in the morning, the things we do and our anger, how we deal with our anger, how we deal with situations, how you're going to solve a problem without anger or violence. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Is basically that's what it's all about. And just in community, people need to be in community, not community of incarceration, but a community, a support community, mm-hmm. a community where people can support each other and the views are my views to your views, and we could start understanding the different traumas that you were going through, and I could share my stuff, you know what I'm saying, to show you that me and you are no different.
Right. So, like, as you starting those programs, you told me a little bit about backlash that you were receiving from other COs. Now, I just want to go a little bit further back because I know that how the prison system looks. And when I was in there, 90% of the guards were Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? So did you have any racist implications on your side, or was it just smooth sailing? Specifically Stillwater, as you came in as a guard. Did you experience any individuals who were like not happy that you were working with the individuals on the other side?
Definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. How did you deal with that?
Well, first of all, I can't. I'm not gonna let someone dictate to me who I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And
that's the New Yorker in you.
I wasn't going, I went through a lot of bullshit, you know what I'm saying? I had to deal with a lot of crap with white officers and even black officers, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't make a difference what color you are.
Right.
It's the fact that we're supposed to be blue, we're the better ones, and you're the gray, and you're the fucked up one.
Right.
And the ones that were walking into that facility to do that work were broken too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That's a good point.
They were broken too, because I could see the brokenness, and we all broken. We all got something that's broken. You had officers walking in there, you could smell the alcohol, and you had officers in there walking in there. There were substance abusers. You know what I'm saying? So they were just people were lucky enough to have a position or get the opportunity to do the line of work. When you leave that place and you take off your uniform and you go and you do whatever, you don't know what people are doing. People are gonna be people, right?
Yeah, definitely humans.
Yeah, we're all human, and we all make mistakes, and we all go through a period of time of anger and confusion and desperation, and So when it comes down to how I felt with my peers, I had some bad experiences, you know what I'm saying? And I had good experiences, I really, when it comes down to working with the people I work with and the people who I serve, it's the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Just different experiences, different things for me to observe and calculate in my brain about, do I want to be like that, or do I want to be who I am?
Yeah, that's a choice. And I knew you. I didn't know you. I've seen you around. I never spoke to you when we were locked up, but I knew who you were.
Stop. I know you. I know you so good. I know you. I'm like, oh man, I couldn't even get a word into you because you were so resistant. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You had this wall of don't fuck with me, keep away from me, don't even touch me, don't talk to me, and it was hard for communication.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the things that, besides yourself, sir, there was some other people like that too. And that's the trauma, and that's all the hurt that you was going through and you've been through your journey through what you was going through.
Okay.
And I'm so freaking happy today that we could, that we hugged this shit and you invited me over here. I'm skeptical and shit. I'm like, where the fuck I'm going to? You know what I'm saying?
Everybody come over. This is a setup.
I'm like, this is a setup, it's an ambush and shit. But
love,
but you know what? I have God in my life.
Yes.
And if it was my day to go, it's my day to go. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I did what I could while I was here. And that's my story too. All of this I do is not about me. It's about something bigger than me.
Yes. That's a great segue into what you're doing now. Could you tell us what you're doing now? How me and you actually intersect right now?
Yeah.
Hit us with it.
So, you bumped me off. You like, yo, what's up, man? This is Grill Pit. You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck is Grill Pit? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is, I know you from, is this Espinosa? Yeah, this Espinosa. Who's this? And so, we got to talk over the phone a little bit. And I was happy to, when I saw you, you came down to the exhibit last week over at Creative Space.
Mm-hmm. And what's the exhibit?
I'm getting there, man.
Go ahead. I'm just Go ahead.
The exhibit.
You got me salivating.
Man, you know what I'm saying? That's right. The Grill Pit. The exhibit that I'm doing comes from, again, a sacrifice. The sacrifice was, in 2018, a co-worker of mine who worked with me for 16 years, was murdered by the hands of an incarcerated person at my facility. At that time, I was on vacation. I wasn't there. But the next day, I was there, regardless of my vacation time. If they needed me to come to work, to help out. And, when that happened, it changed the whole, Stillwater, is a difficult place. Prison is a difficult period, but Stillwater is like one of the most active fighting and all kinds of different stuff that happens in that place. And for that to happen, it took me to a different place. and I could see I saw the pain. That's when I really saw pain. You know, you would see it and you could hear it. You know what I'm saying? But I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the pain in the officer's side, and I was hurting too. And I saw the pain on the offender side. People like Joe, you know, and
take your time.
he was a good dude. You know what I'm saying? He was good. He was a good guy, but he had to go through something for something good to happen. So he was a sacrifice. He was that lamb. He was that lamb that was used for something good, and unfortunately, it was his life. And so, I instead of running away from this problem, I was running right into the fire. And I was asking my father, you know, like, what is it that you want me to do? How can I try to change this culture? What can I do to change the things and the stigma and the everything? What is it that you're asking me to do? So I was so when Joe was murdered, they got rid of all the industry jobs and everything else, and the guys were, you know, locked up more. And so as a frontline worker, we were attacked more with verbally and, you know, feces and even physically because of the anger and everything else, and they still haven't changed. You know, they still haven't you know, created positive things in that area, you know, in industry. And I was like, man, you know, all these years that I've been walking and doing my rounds and checking people out, you know, doing their artwork and beat work and all kind of shit in their cells, I was like, why can't we sell that? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we take that and put it outside and show it to the public what these, you know, people could do, and try and sell it, and they could, you know, those artists could make some sort of, you know, some cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first idea. You know what I'm saying? That was the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so I brought the idea to, you know, upper management. They loved it. They gave me the opportunity, and they gave me the opportunity to do this. And I've been running with this for 3 years, and we've been successful. When I say successful, for me, the success about the whole entire thing is more than just selling art and looking at art. It's about talking about the artists. It's to listen to what they have to say about how art makes them feel. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's a therapeutic thing.
It definitely is.
That helps people, you know, relax and gets them out of their. A lot of people say that, you know, when I'm doing my art, I don't even feel like I'm in prison. I'm in a different space. You know what I'm saying? I put my earbuds on and I'm listening to my music and I'm going at it. You know what I'm saying? And I do see it and I've seen it. So that was one of the things, right? The other thing is educating the public about incarceration until, you know, you are affected by it. Now you want to know more about it, you know, and you should be proactive instead of reactive. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we should all be proactive and react, and then reactive towards something. You know what I'm saying? And to change the culture of the way how the DOC, not only in Minnesota but throughout the whole state and throughout this whole country, yes. How we deal with, you know, incarcerated people and how can we help them through that journey. You know what I'm saying? There's other ways to do things instead of just housing people. You know, I was there, like I said, that they have certain. The DOC was providing, you know, schools, and there were schools. There's art class over at Stillwater, but it only facilitates no more than 15 people. Right. You know, we had 1,600 people at the time. Yeah, you're saying a lot of people did a lot of different kind of stuff. You know, some guys were banging on the wall, they were rapping. Yeah. You're saying some other guys are beating and doing the beat work and using the pen and doing some awesome work. work that no one else would ever get to see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Only their family members, because they would normally send it out. And I was just trying to be creative that way. Creating an opportunity for that population of people to be expressive, to express themselves, and for me to show it. And that's the vehicle for that uncomfortable conversation about what can we do differently, through the system to help people and educate the public and change the culture. So I've been on it.
You definitely have. I definitely have been on it, and I appreciate it. We all appreciate the fact that something like that exists. That a different way to look at individuals, to show those things. As I said in there, I've seen individuals use toilet paper and create roses out of it.
Toilet paper. They smash up the carrots and the peas and whatever, and use the dye of that and paint and they do a fishing pole and it actually works. You know what I'm saying? It's people are just so creative.
Yes.
And they're just stuck.
Yeah, definitely.
They're stuck, and we need to try to figure out how to create a different system where we could utilize people's talents, not only within the system, but then create a line, create that path of success when they come out. It's like people come out and they have problems finding housing, jobs, and paying their fines and fees, getting a car, paying for insurance, getting their license. There's a lot of different things that is so hard for them to do because the system was created for to make it harder for folks like that. You know what I'm saying? Where I had my troubles doing certain things, but not like folks like I hear all these stories and that it's the same stories. Everybody says the same thing. So we need to try to change that up to make it easier for folks to transition back into our society and give people opportunity for work and housing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's so I guess you're a big proponent for Paul Snell's reinvestment, and you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
That act. So yeah, he spoke a lot about it. It seems to do similar things, trying to remove that line between the individuals incarcerated and the individuals who are on the opposite side, trying to bring them closer together, also invest in that individual inside that cell to make them a better person as they come out. So it seems like we're all on the same path, understanding that.
But it's not for everybody.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? From what I understand, it's not for lifers, and I don't know. I think it's not for people who have sex offenses. Yeah. But then the door opens up for other folks, you know what I'm saying, to do this new programming if it passes. I think it did pass or it's going to pass. It will.
They're figuring that it will pass. It hasn't.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that he did mention that their goal is to make it for lifers. He didn't say anything about sex offenders, but he said that lifers would be the next time they look at it again, they would be trying to incorporate lifers. I had a question to ask Paul Snell. I'm going to ask you the same question. Knowing who you are. Now, just answer it is this is theoretical. It has nothing to do with anything. But knowing that your relationship with individuals who have been justice impacted, dealing with those individuals, forming relationships with those individuals, on the other, being inside there, hearing their stories. If there was an individual that came up to you and said, Mr. Espinosa, C.O. Espinosa, I'm innocent of my crime. Here's my paperwork. Could you please help me get out? How would you take that?
I do remember that question because I did see this show.
Would you thought the grill pit was gonna be easy?
Nah,
we grilling.
I'm good.
We grilling. Come on, now. New York.
Bring the steaks out, man.
You in the grill pit. This is IGSTS.
Man, you know what I'm saying? It's my answer, my response to that would be that they would definitely need more. They would need help through a family member or someone from the outside, The job description for me is not constructed for me to do that. If I could give you and which I have, giving people, my opinion on what they should do or how they could go about doing it, then that's what I could do. But I couldn't pick up somebody's paperwork and go down to the courthouse or, lawyer, whatever. No, I would say, hey, this lawyer dude is pretty cool. You should look him up or have somebody look him up. But, for me to do that, that's way, now I'm really going over the line, you know what I'm saying? Which I was, there's a great line that, when you're an officer or an employee and you're dealing with, incarcerated folks, there's a line that you have to walk. And I walked over the line, but I wasn't going to go into a different crazy space. I understand that, folks are vulnerable people, you know what I'm saying? So, and nothing sexually or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I was definitely one of those guys that nothing in, nothing out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna bring nothing in, and I ain't taking nothing out. But I could talk to you. I could give you my, my ideas, or even give you a hint about how you should go about doing it, or where you could probably find that resource to help you through what you're trying to figure out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So the reason I brought that up because I knew Mayan in a joint, and I knew his position. He always talked about being innocent. And I always thought about all the individuals, because I was at the law library. Of course, I was very angry. And I was...
I do remember that.
One thing, yeah. So I just think about it all the time, because I heard guys over and over say, I'm innocent, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. We see how his case sort of played out. He spent 16 years in the joint, a long time. And he finally got, out. And it always bothered me, being that, it was difficult because as much as you could help me, you can help me facilitate maybe kites or whatever, in my journey, there was never a time where I could actually befriend someone and actually let them know my situation and for them to help me. And that's the area where that's sort of where we come in at. What is something about yourself that people don't know, what you like people to know, knowing that you're on the forefront? You know what I'm saying? People, when it comes to art from the inside, people know you for you're getting notoriety. Your name is circulating. People, but am
I for real?
Yeah, your name is definitely. That's how I ran into. I got you. And I knew people who knew about it, who've been to the exhibits and stuff like that. But what is it, something outside that the public does not know about you that you would like them to know?
About me that they don't know? Well, I'm Hispanic. If y'all don't know, I'm Cuban descent, Hispanic. I'm a man of God, and I'm a man of change. You know what I'm saying? I think that the 19 and a half years that I worked at Stillwater for the Department of Corrections gave me a different perspective, as in the system, and gave me a different perspective about how our laws are created to suppress people and keep people at a certain level, and not to move up. Policies are created by people to keep people at a certain statute. And that's where you're staying. That's where you're gonna be for the rest of your life, and that's not true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not fucking true.
Right.
I mean, I seen a lot of guys who I gave sandwich to on a lockdown, milk and sandwiches in a freaking banana, who are doing some fucking amazing work out in this community. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so proud, to see these people that I know, that that we all know.
Yeah, we all know.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna mention names, but there's a bunch of folks who are doing some
real good stuff,
outstanding work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing it because they're the traumas that they went through, and they use that trauma not for condemning them, but to help them figure out what they needed to do when they got out. So for me, I'm just, I'm a disruptor right now.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And when I say I'm a disruptor, I'm saying it like how it is, or how I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people may not like it. You know what I'm saying? But it's true.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff that needs to change, and change hurts. And change, you have to admit change. You know what I'm saying? You have to admit that change is needed.
Yes.
And change doesn't mean that you're going to, lose power. You know what I'm saying? Change is just you're going to use your power in a different way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To empower people.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Not to suppress people, to empower people.
Yeah, so that's scary.
You know what I'm saying? And that is scary for some people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they rather keep people at a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, I'm from New York, right? And so people were like, New York, you know what I'm saying? The South Bronx shit. Yeah, I was there, you know what I'm saying? But I came out here to Minnesota, and I'm like, shit, this is no different than fucking my neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Bang, bang, shoot them up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the crimes and everything else is the same, just about.
Yeah.
What can we do? I want people to know that what can you do to change the narrative about your neighborhood and your community? Because it doesn't take just one person. It doesn't take me to do this, because I was able to think of an idea of how to approach it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a humongous fucking picture, man.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And so, we need a lot of artists to paint this picture.
Mm-hmm.
You say, what can you do?
Right.
In your neighborhood, in your community?
Definitely.
To be an activist, to try to change something. How, do you people know your legislators and your representatives and your senators? Don't you know that these people work for you?
Right.
You don't work for them; they work for you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to write out, figure it out and send out, like, I'm your constituent. This is who I am. I live over here. This is what's going on in my neighborhood. I want to have a sit down conversation with you because I want some things changed.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that, and I didn't have the courage to do it. You know what I'm saying? But through this journey and dealing with people and seeing what I seen and go through things that I went through is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage. That's the new me. I encourage everybody to get off their asses,
right,
and find out what you can do, because you can do something to make our community safer.
That's true. That's true. One last question before we go to break. Love Cuban food. What's your favorite Cuban dish, man?
I do my arroz con gandules.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And mi puerco asado. You know what I'm saying? That's right. And my Bacardi on the side.
Can you cook?
Man, don't you see how fat I am?
I love Cuban food. Man, the oxtails and beans.
Man.
Oh my God.
Man, I haven't eaten lunch yet, man.
Yeah, we're going to have to get together and break bread, bro. So we're going to go to a break right now. We're going to retool, but great talking to you. We're going to get back on set, and we're going to take this a little bit further. Be right back. Podcast host and podcast history, IGSTS. I got a special guest in the grill pit. I'm going to have you reintroduce yourself.
My name is Antonio Espinosa, former correction officer.
If you didn't notice, he got a New York accent. I'm not going to even hold that against him because I'm from the go. But the thing about it, what I like about this whole scenario is that we didn't conversate inside, but we found the relationship on the outside. And it's commonality that has us moving in a positive direction. The first thing that came up to my mind when Jen from MPWW told me about, and I sort of heard about it, but I never really smoothed over to it. She was like Espinosa, and I was like, man, she's like, it's former CO. I'm like, And then I looked it up and I saw who you were, and I could not connect you with the process because I didn't know all the good works that you were doing inside the DOC. So, with that being said, I called up one of my guys and I was like, you know about this art from the inside? He's like, yeah. And he was like, I got a lot of questions, but the question we had is like, why Espinosa? Why not us? And what gave him the ability to bring the art to the people? And we sort of had that discussion. But I just want you to elaborate a little bit more on your transitioning of the art and how you went about it and why you thought that it was such a good idea, Mr. Espinosa.
The good idea about what I'm doing is just something that people just don't think outside of the box.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Thinking outside of the box is hard for, obviously, for people who work for the DOC and who run the DOC.
Why do you think that? Is this so much like just you got to be rank and file? Because I was in the military and I understand the military, and we lose the chain of command. Like I have certain things I have to do, and that's it. So I think like a robot. So that out of the box conversation that you're thinking, you know, you have to use a lot of skills to think outside the box. And is it more conducive to be in that system if you follow the rules and not think outside the box?
The whole system is to follow the rules, not to think outside of the box.
Okay.
You know, so I did do that for, you know, the beginning of my career. And through my time working there, you know, yeah, I got to meet people every day who were people.
Yes.
And, you know, people who are in the situation that they're in, right? And my job was to come in and make sure that everything was cool, copacetic, everybody's doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? And then when things was a little bit hectic, then I had to respond and do what I had to do, right?
Yeah.
So luckily me and you never had no dealings with me.
I seen you one time. I'm glad you opened that up because I seen you one time. It was a fight going on and you came from wherever and you had tackle Buddy and put him down to the ground. So I was like, man, Joe, I don't want no problems. But I seen you in action. I seen you. I don't know if it was squad. I don't know if you was in a hallway. I don't know what. I just remember being in a block and seeing you come. I seen a fight coming through and seeing you, man, bum rush this dude.
Yeah, you know, that's part of the work.
Well, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like you were not diligent in your job. You were excellent. In fact, I seen all those gold chevron you were walking through with so you were definitely an ideal CO that actually thought outside the box, right? You were like, this is my job, but I also can see more than just these individuals in the cell.
So just exactly that. So you saw the bronze part about me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you didn't see the soft part of it.
Right.
You didn't see the part where I would go back to SAG and chop it up with the dude.
Never seen, yeah. That's what I missed.
Chop it up with the dude that I had to put my hands on.
Yeah.
You know, as a restraining part.
Yeah.
You're saying put handcuffs and take him to SAG.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go back there and I'm like, dude, you know, like, what was going on? What was going on with you? Why were you so angry? And why did, couldn't you have done this in a different way instead of it being aggressive and violent?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of the things that a lot of folks don't do is to go back and kick it with the person, and then they get to see who you really are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to do this because I have fun. I'm not trying to get myself hurt or you hurt. You know what I'm saying? But if you're hurting someone, I got to stop it. So we're going to stop it. And we're going to use whatever force we need to do it. If it goes up, the escalation level goes up. And unfortunately, that's how it is out in the street and everything else. But, my thing has been, doing that core correctional practice thing is going back and talking to the person and trying to figure out, try to make them understand and reflect about how they could have done it in a different way.
And that's important in our community in general, because what we talked about is that we lack the anger management or resolution, conflict resolution, devices within ourselves. We've been trained like pit bulls to fight. You know what I'm saying? And everything is disposition is based on a fight, right? Opposed to you and I talking it out. And I told you, like I tell anybody, I'm sitting back and seeing the same dudes that got into the altercation, cooking, kicking it, using phone call, the whole deal. And in my mind, I'm like, are we just that backwards that we can't see that this was all for no reason? Why do I have to put my hands on you? Why is that the solution? And it just seems like, as easy as it is to say, I mean, a lot of people lack the skills of conflict resolution, and that's why we find ourselves in these altercations. I mean, it's a lot more than that, but I think the main thing is just implicating or allowing conflict resolution to be the solution. You know,
and that's the whole thing. I mean, I think that if the DOC was to be creative enough and create and have these different kind of programs. It's programs are created for me, I think, for community and to have conversations. If you don't speak about what's going on in your brain and how you feel about stuff, and probably the next guy is feeling the same way, and someone's saying, well, if you try to do this way. Next time this happens, or next time you have a conflict with someone, try to do this and see what happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And see, and then come back and have it, and you could chop it up.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's all about trying to utilize your trying to be smarter than the situation is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just adult maturation. A lot of these guys are still immature, and they might be grown, but they might not have all those necessary skills.
Don't make a difference how old you are.
Yeah, doesn't make a difference.
No.
Yeah.
You could be 21 and you could be thinking like a 12-year-old, or you could be 21 thinking like a 45-year-old.
Yeah.
A positive person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who did something that got him in the situation.
Right.
But some people just never were educated enough, or never were taught, or it was never exampled to them about how to react with the certain situations. Now, mind you, I don't know how I'm going to react if something, pops up just like that. You know what I'm saying? First thing is fight or flight.
Right, of course. Yeah.
And how you going to deal with that. And it's all about how you start thinking about it real quick, about how you're going to deal with the situation.
That's true.
And that goes with handling with your kids, dealing with your wife, dealing with the public, dealing with your next door neighbor. You know what I'm saying? It's just how are you going to react towards something, and then knowing that if you use force, there's going to be consequences.
Definitely, choices, consequences. Definitely, choices, consequences, and a lot of stuff that we think that could be resolved. I go back to SIG. That could be resolved with you not losing your housing, with you not losing your job. All these things you're going to give up because you had a split-second reaction to someone driving you, and you just flipped out.
And now you're losing all you're losing the fact of how you could live in the place. Your opportunities are taken away from you. You're in SAG.
Yeah.
You're miserable. You can't call your family. It's just so much that happens when you don't really think about it really quick.
Yeah.
But I think we was talking before. It's like it's a macho thing.
It's all bravado.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all about macho thing. It's about my gang, and I can't show them I'm soft and whatever. But down the line, it's all about you. It's your choices, what you do. You know what I'm saying? The choices that you do today is going to be the reflection of how you're going to look tomorrow.
I got a personal question for you, because we were talking before. You mentioned that your father was not in your life. What was the male role model that you looked toward when you thought about it, or was it a female role model? What was you talk about support. how did that look for you? Because a lot of times people talk about us not having male role models in our lives drives us along the path you drive along. So what was different for you?
My role models, I had to be smart enough to create it, you know what I'm saying? And observe of my peers, no, not my peers, but the people I grew up with, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in the South Bronx, man, with a bunch of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and all kind of people. And, you know, I seen their fathers, you know, how they reacted with their families. You know, so that was for me, that was something for me to watch. My mom, she did the best that she could as, you know, as an immigrant from Cuba. You know what I'm saying? She did the best that she could, and you know, and I commend her for that. You know what I'm saying? I was among people who were positive. The people who I grew up with, you know, were people of family structure. So I got to see how they, you know, they did it. You know what I'm saying? And I said to myself, now I have an idea of when I have my family, I'm not going to turn my back on my kid.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, you know, regardless of the fact if ever, you know, it doesn't work out, I'm going to always be in my kid's life.
Very important.
And that's what happened, you know? Yeah. The test came.
Yeah.
So I, you know, I had a divorce, and it was a horrible 16 years. But I never turned my back on my on my kids.
Yeah.
And today they're 24, 25, 24 and 21. And, you know, college grads and doing good. And
you're beautiful.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, went to school, they did their thing. They're striving, they're smart kids, they're good looking kids, you know what I'm saying? And I'm happy that I was, you know, even though I had a dark moment,
right,
that I was able to, you know, reflect about when I grew up without a father, and I was like, nah, I can't do that. I can't turn my back on my kids because me and you know don't see eye to eye and stuff. So
yeah, that's very important because I sort of felt the same way with my family. You know, I had a father in the house, but I went through a lot of different things, you know, whether it's physical abuse or whatever it might be, because as I was coming up, it was common to put your hands on your children, right? And when you to whip them or whatever it might be. I came, you know, I moved away from my family life to hit the streets and do what I need to do because I was hard-headed, didn't want to listen. You know, and my mom always said, hard head make a soft ass. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was sort of like you. They didn't let me get too far away, but I was still doing what I wanted to do. And as I got older, when the time came up, I did what I wanted to do and it got me where I got to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was some positive things along the way. You know, my parents, they taught me the right way of things to do. And that's all we can do as parents, right? Is show them the way. Like you said, we can't make them drink, but if we put those positive milestones in their life, they can always go back to them and build on them, right? And that's all we can do. I met your wife at the exhibit. Now, through that journey that you had, I'm sure you came home a lot of times and spoke to her about what was going on in the institution.
Every day.
And she seems like a really positive woman, you know, and I seen her at the exhibit with you. So is she integral in this journey that you're having?
Oh man, my wife, my family, we all, you know, they see it and they feel my passion towards what I'm walking towards. You know, every day I wake up in the morning, I pick up my cross, man, and I say, okay, God, you know, what I got to do today, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, my wife, she, without her, man, and she's been a great help and a great supporter through this journey, throughout the whole thing, but even before, you know, anything that I was trying to do interactive with the DOC. But when it came down to this, it made sense, you know what I'm saying? And she saw how passionate I am about it. And we both, you know, we both are faith-driven. And, you know, it's a call. This has been a call for me. This is, man, I don't make money off of this, man. I'm not making no money off of this.
Right.
This is something I'm doing for people because that's what I was told to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very important.
And she's been there with me too. So, you know, we both, you know, we believe in what we're doing, and I'm actually, as I keep moving back, I keep seeing the picture getting bigger and bigger, and I'm actually getting to see what God has plans for me.
And that's what I wanted to talk to. So that's a great segue to, like, what's the future? Because I know the exhibit ended what's the next journey? What are you guys planning on?
Oh man, it's not the next thing. The next thing. Tomorrow I'm going to be going to the legislators.
Let them know then.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to the legislation. They sent me an email today that they want my bill. So I wrote a bill.
Yes, sir.
And the bill went to the House. And from the House, it went to the omnibus. Now it's on committee. And the committee, on the other side, the Senate side, they want to have a conversation with me tomorrow about the bill that I wrote. And the bill that I wrote is for supportive arts programming for the DOC. And that meaning that we need money to have this is tricky. I'm just learning all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Don't like politics at all. Uh-huh. But I have to in order to understand what I'm doing to get to where I'm trying to get to. Right. And so tomorrow the Senate side is going to convene and they're going to have a conversation about if this bill is good enough and why is it good. So I'm going to go and testify and tell them why I think that they should say yes to this bill. And it's for some money to be funding the DOC to fund outside resources to come into the different institutions to bring some programming. We need a lot of programming. These individuals, the women and the men and the children need programming. They need more programming for healing and trying to figure out who they are as human beings, and not just drawing and painting, but it could come out to be writing and poetry. It could be dance, and it could be theater. It could be, it could be anything. The arts. You know what I'm saying? Art from the inside cannot do the whole entire state of Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? So we need to open doors for other people in different sectors of this state to come out and do their thing with the folks who are incarcerated and try to bring some healing and try to bring people together in their mind and try to heal some of the pain that people are going through. So that there could be better people when they come back out into our society, that, we could open the doors for people, giving them opportunities, giving them job opportunities, giving them housing opportunities. If we want people to be better, we have to be the example that we want them to be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, it takes the whole entire damn village to help one person. Yeah. And if it's me that, if I'm that one person who's trying to start this thing here, then I need your participation and cooperation and your creativity in trying to help those who are in need.
Definitely. And I was just thinking about like a couple of different things, but the one thing I thought about is this an open hearing? Can anybody come to sit and watch you testify?
Yeah. I'm happy you to come out. I told you.
Yeah. What time is the hearing?
They told me to be there 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. I got to check my schedule. I'm going to try to make that so I can do, I can go out there and sit because it's right up the street.
It's a public thing, it's to the public, but I'm not sure if this is supposed to be open to the public because they just finished doing, I'm coming back and like I said, I'm learning about all of this stuff about, bills and when I was a kid,
Give me that show. We old enough. Don't date us. Don't date us.
When I was a kid,
don't date us. I know that when you watch the cartoons, you see the bill and I'm just the bill.
I'm just the bill. And I'm just the bill sitting on Capitol Hill. And that shit smacked me in the head, man.
That's how we watch it. I remember those commercials not commercials, but those little tidbits during the cartoon. It stuck with us. Whatever they did, that worked.
And I'm actually doing that. I'm actually walking that, and I'm freaking happy to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. It brings my morale up. I'm hoping that it brings your morale up.
Definitely.
I'm hoping that it changes people's perspective to know that where's your money going at?
Yeah.
Do you know where your money's going at, and how is it being used in order to help people in the community? You have a voice and you have a say. These people work for you. You don't work for them. We put them in power. So we got to go and tell them how we want them to help our community. Right. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tell them that we need a certain amount of money in the system to do this kind of line of work to help people, your people, our people, our Minnesotans. You know what I'm saying? How to help them through a difficult journey that they're going through. Because 95% of the times people come back into our society, and we need to know that we're doing the best that we can to help people find the healing that they need and the opportunities that they need to strive.
When you set up art from the inside, did you ever think about incorporating, because I know a lot of times I do a lot of stuff and they always ask about partners in this, networking, whatever it might be, a person, a family that had an incarcerated individual that you could partner with this, or how did you facilitate that? How art from the inside would look?
Man, how's it looking? Okay, real quick, right?
Yeah.
I have a board, so I'm a 501c3. I never thought I'd be a 501c3. I became a 501c3. On my board, I have two folks who are impacted by incarceration.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we do? So we incorporate these folks. We bring them in. We gave them art supplies. We made them feel like they're part of something. You know what I'm saying?
Now, are those individuals currently incarcerated, or are the people out that's on your board?
No, they're out.
They're out. Okay.
One guy was in. He was in. I used to give him sandwiches, dude. You know what I'm saying? When they were like,
where my sandwich at?
You know what I'm saying?
Where my sandwich
Let's go to Subway. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Subway.
I'm just fucking with you. But those sandwiches came in.
Peanut butter.
Whatever. It didn't matter what it was. Shit, you sitting back there, you hungry.
But now he's working with us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm working with the women in Shakopee, also as well with their art, and I want to incorporate these folks into the project. I can't say the story.
Yeah.
I can't talk about that part.
Right.
Because I didn't experience that
part.
I experienced my part.
Yeah.
So I need to have, people who were incarcerated, family members, community members, I need artists, I need educators, I need people who want to bring their skill set into our organization to make it stronger and better, and to have an open mind about how we can grow as an org. The other thing that I'm doing, and it's not only about art, but we're talking about creating opportunities and working together with other entities. Mm-hmm. Yeah, last year, did a welcome home party over by Snelling and University behind Ujama place. They have a parking lot over there, and we had stakeholders and different orgs, and we had music, and we had bands, and we had, people actually doing art, and there was a lot of people that came out and to find work. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And the community came out. People were kind of skeptical, you know what I'm saying? But they came out, and this year we're doing it again. Yeah. So
what day was that? What day would that happen this year?
This year it's going to be sometime in September.
Sometime in September.
Yeah.
Same place?
No, it's going to be at a different location. So go to artfromtheinside.mn.org.
I'm gonna put that up on the bottom so people know where to go, and I'm gonna link it in the comments box so people can check you out.
Yeah, check it out.
Hook up with you. Do you have a YouTube channel?
No, I don't have a YouTube channel.
But
Well, I have a couple of things on YouTube.
Okay, so what I can do is I can mention you in this episode, and it would link back to you on YouTube, so people can see who you are.
You could do that, sir.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm trying to say is that art from the inside, myself, my wife, and my people who are the org, I'm not going to save this entire state or this community. We all need to work together, and together we're working. It's funny because we all working towards the same thing.
Yes, we are.
And we're working in separate hubs.
Yeah,
you're saying if we work together as a huge hub, we'll have more leverage, we have more power and more voices. So, that's when I said to myself, why can't we do something like together? Mm-hmm. Why we're all criminals and, all square. Why can't we all get together? Because we're working towards the same thing with the same population of people.
Yes.
Let's get together and kick ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let's get the voices out even stronger.
That's funny because we call this, the motto of us is we're the voice of the voiceless. And I thought that was important because I felt as though that that the people who are incarcerated have the weakest voice when it comes to everything. And in order for them to project outside those cells, we need to sort of take that and then run with it, because we have it. But it's funny. We are the voice of the voiceless, and that's what we use.
But you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
No.
You know, the way how we've been doing our exhibits, you know, taking the art from the inside, the prison system, and bringing it out into our society is the bridge. And the other bridge part is where you come to the exhibits. You know, you could leave a message to these.
I saw that. That's very important.
You could leave a message to these individuals. You know what I'm saying, and letting them know, you know, something about that piece of artwork that they created, or something nice. You know what I'm saying, to build someone's character, give them some hope, and that's what we've been doing for the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? These guys go around into the units and they're showing their friends, you know, look what someone said about my work.
You don't realize how important that was, because when I was in MPWW, which is writing, they would have events where they would read our work, and we would get the cards back too, with people that they would laugh, you know, they would just, and it was just, I kept all those cards because there were people from the outside talking about something I did on the inside that, unless it was on the opposite side, I would never had those. I wouldn't be able to connect with those people or contact those individuals. So I feel like we're talking about the same thing, about you taking the art from inside, putting it outside, letting people see something that grew on cement, concrete, arose in concrete, grow, and be able to show that outside. And that's super. I mean, it seems like it's such a minor thing, but to get those cards back and read every one of them,
it's huge.
It turns a fucked up day into a beautiful day, right?
And then not only just that one day when they're reading it, but when it, you know, like I actually went to Moose Lake and I was talking to one of my artists out there, and he was like, you know, when I was going through something, I was going through my bin and I found the cards, you know. And I started reading them all over again, and it brought joy back into my heart.
That's
to hear what people who don't know me at
right.
all, to see, you know, to hear what they said about my art, and they said they saw my humanity.
Yes.
They saw me.
Yes.
They didn't see what, you know, why I'm here. They saw the talent that I have.
Right.
They saw, you know, and it makes me understand that I have talent.
Right.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Affirmation.
Yep.
Yep, solid.
And that's what, you know, that's what prison and incarceration does to people. It strips them away from their identity. It strips them away from, you know, who they truly are. And then they start getting this image about who they think they are being portrayed to be.
Right.
And, you know, we all have the opportunity to change. And transformation is not just for those who are incarcerated, man. Transformation is for everybody. How we see each other as human beings and how we treat each other. You know what I'm saying? If we take time to be a little bit more compassionate and understanding with the person next door to us, man, maybe this world and our communities will strive. But we have to, you know, we all have to do this. It's not just, you know, the blacks or the Hispanics. It's everybody.
It definitely is. It's a village, like you said. With that, we got a special guest, someone who brought their art for us to check out. We're gonna take a break real quick. Bring the gentleman on. He's gonna show us his art. He's gonna talk a little bit about the program. And it's SAFMO, your prison lawyer, the smoothest podcast host in podcast history, bringing you. You thought we couldn't bring you. We got the man here today. You know what I'm saying? And it's all good. But we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come right back, show off the art a little bit, and talk a little bit more, and then we're gonna conclude with this. But I appreciate the support. Podcast history. Don't believe me? Get off the couch, go ask your mama. Got my man's with me, the former CO, but now he went from the dark side to the light side. He with us, sitting on the side. My man,
Antonio Espinosa.
yes. And then we got a special guest.
Ricardo Dominguez.
Yes, the artist that I was showing his drawing, his expression. We had that out. Now we're back at this table. It's funny because we all sitting around this table talking about something positive. We came from this negative to this positive, trying to make something happen. Could you please tell me, like, what brought you over into drawing? Because I know it didn't really start in prison, but it was something you.
I really got started in the neighborhood doing graffiti.
Okay.
So that was my thing. Writing on the walls in high school, bathroom stalls, putting my tag up there. But when I got to prison, I had to take it serious because I'm forced with number of time and I had to perfect my skills. So during a whole bunch of lockdowns that we went on, during a couple periods in there, I just jammed it out and just kept painting, tried watercolors. I just got better and kept getting better. But I really started by sending gifts to my kids through the mail. That was the only way I could connect with them because me and their mother, whatever, we fell out. So there was no contact there. So I would send Christmas cards, birthday, little drawings and paintings. And then people started liking my stuff. So I got notoriety and then everybody started wanting to buy it. And then SB coming around looking, hey, yo, that's dope. Hey, check that out. So the COs, everybody was appreciating my work, so I started to take it a little bit more serious.
Did you go through the art class in Stillwater?
Yeah, and St. Cloud. Yeah.
You know Chris Cabrera?
Yeah. I never met him, but I know who he is.
Yeah. Great artist. You know Fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great phenomenal artist.
Yes, my bro.
Yeah, phenomenal performer artist. When I was in Stillwater, I did a little bit with the paper. I was an editor for the paper, the Mirror. Mm-hmm. So I was fortunate enough to be around. I wanted to get in art. I tried to get in art a couple of different times. I never was able to get into it because I wanted to draw. Because I know how to draw, but I really didn't know how to draw. Right. So was it hard for you to get into art class?
Yeah, it was a little bit hard. Like Espinosa was saying, they only have like a little bit more than a dozen chairs up there. So unless a guy goes to the hole or them guys been there for years.
Yeah.
So they don't really get them seats up. So getting in there is kind of a select. It's hard to get in there.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in. But once you in there, you learn. I learned a lot. I learned so much in there.
Yeah, what did you learn? Did you learn that how to work with watercolors?
Well, when you get in the program over there in Stillwater, they start you at the basic with a pencil, and then you work your way to a pastel, oil pastel, watercolor, paint, and then it goes on. You got to literally get certified in each one of those. And turn in a piece and they have to approve it. So I got better and better and better. And I started taking it serious and just been blessing after blessing.
Would you consider yourself an artist now? I mean, where would you put yourself? I mean, I'm not trying to categorize you or label you, but I mean, coming out, I feel like although I was writing, I never felt like I was a true writer. You know what I'm saying? Right. So do you feel like now you're an artist?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I got places all over the city. Chicago and Lake Liquor Store, I got that whole graffiti. Me and my son did that with another artist in the Twin Cities when I came over here fresh out. So yeah, I'm definitely running with it. Running with it.
Yeah, that's good because I just feel like I always look at prison or the conviction that we had as a point, and it's a journey. Mm-hmm. And from that journey, what you brought out, it's just important. A lot of people get stuck in those cells, and they must feel like it's some type of stagnant time that they can do whatever they want to do. They don't try to grow.
True.
So I see growth in the fact that now you're an artist.
True. When I was in sentenced to my 13 and a half years, I got my college degree.
Yes.
I got my welding license. I learned how to paint really good. Got in the best shape of my life. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't in prison. That's the sad thing about it. So it's a double-edged sword, so it cuts both ways. I had to lose my family, my freedom to to get all his beautiful blessings on the other side.
Right, and it's important for us to understand it from that aspect, and it's important to see the growth, see a potential of growing, and not say that that's just downtime or it's going to waste that time.
Yeah.
So it was very important. Like, what is the like, I know, like, when I first piece I ever wrote, or I thought that was a good piece that I really understood that I was a writer. What was it for you when it came to drawing? What piece made you feel like I just crossed this threshold? I'm something more.
Probably the jazz player.
The jazz player?
Yeah, because I did that so fast. I did that in a couple hours.
What was that in? What?
Pastel.
Pastels.
So my floor was dirty. My socks was rainbow color because the pastels was really dirty, and I just jammed out. Boom. Like 3 hours, I was done. Boom.
And then what happened? What happened?
I sold that one for $2,600.
How that happened?
Beautiful.
You know what I mean?
How that happened?
Art from the inside.
Art from the inside.
You know what I mean?
Inside. So when you heard about art from the inside, were you kind of backed off of it because it was coming from a CO?
Not even a little bit. Cause
Okay.
I'm a different type of convict. I've always have been. I know if people that know me, they know I'm not. If you see me talking to a CO, it's never gonna be that. It's either gonna be about business, or it's gonna be about, I need a Kiger, hey, could you hand me that? I need a roll of toilet paper.
Yes.
Never know really conversations like that, except for him. You know what I mean? Espinosa was different because we speak Spanish. And he used to trip me out, be like, okay, he's Cuban, he's a black Cuban. And we'd be kicking Spanish, you see everybody else turn their head, be like, oh, I didn't know he was Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to kick it like that, and we vibe like that. We're Latino, so I never really gave a shit about what anybody thought about me, you know what I mean? And I would address that if it was an issue, but it never was. Because people that know me, they know that my intentions are good. And when they see me involved in our program and Art from the Inside, there was a lot of other people that were like, okay, Slick's doing this shit must be legit.
Right.
So now the shit's, let's get it popping.
Right.
And now we we're in Shakopee, Rush City, Lionel Lake. We're in every prison in the state now.
Not yet.
Mm-hmm. Almost. We're over there. Mm-hmm. We'll be over there next year or something. But yeah, it's been beautiful. It's been a blessing. SP's my dog, man. That's my brother. That's my big brother, man. He gave me a shot that, man, I never thought I'd be doing this shit.
Where did you think you were gonna be at? I mean, let's just say bar art in general, where would you think you would be at? Just keep it real. I mean, no art, no nothing, just do your time, go home.
I would have been probably miserable welding somewhere, dirty as hell. Probably getting paid a little bit, but I would have been miserable.
Exactly.
I would have been miserable. I wouldn't have been happy. And I would have been doing what everybody else is doing, that cattle thing. I'm not a cattle, I'm a bull. I do what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do what makes me feel good and what drives me. You know what I mean? My thing is this. All prison did was give me the concept of time, was make me aware of how much time and how little of it we have on this planet. So what I do and who I choose to spend my time around is everything to me. So why would I waste my time doing something that's not productive? You know what I mean?
Right, and that's kind of, it's easy to say, but you see so many times people sitting at the poker table smoking all day, you know what I'm saying, just want to make a meal, cook all day, watch TV all day, don't want to do nothing but just, pop pills and sleep, try to run away from their time. Yeah. So it's very important that the reason why we sit down and we have these discussions, and the reason I thought this platform, IGSTS, Voice of the Voiceless, was so important is because I want individuals to understand, you might be going to the joint, for whatever reason, but that time ain't downtime. You can make something out. You can actually make that be positive. You know what I'm saying? You could actually make that, it could be where you need to be. Like you say, I had to go there, I had to walk that walk. But I carried it and I did what I had to do, and look what I came out. How does your son feel about the stint that you was in? What was it when you came back home? How was that? Was he missing you? Where you had that?
Yeah, my son. It's his birthday today. He's 19.
Yo, what's up? Yo, shout him out. What's up?
Shout out, little Rick. I love you, boy. But it's crazy because I just tripped like, whoa. My son's almost 20 years old. But it tripped me out because when I seen him, my son's bigger than me. He was. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
Because I see my kids in stages. like this big, and then, you know what I mean? So it was trippy. It was trippy for both of us, you know what I mean? But to see him when I seen the pictures with Espinosa, when they're standing next to my artwork and they're holding my stuff, I was like, damn, they're downtown in my city, St. Paul. They're out here holding my I couldn't ask. That was like a dream. It was surreal. You know what I mean? It really was. But my kids are proud of me. They're just. I be talking cash shit to my kids all the time. I be like, man, which one of your homies has got shit popping like this in the city? Straight up. In the newspaper, we on podcasts. I mean, we doing everything. We got mirrors all over the city. Sure. I said, we out here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's super important to be able to come back, you know, and have something tangible that you could utilize. And like I say, everybody can get behind. I mean, because right now, I mean, you know, you never know. Like you didn't know when you went to the joint that you was going to come out an artist. Like, next, you know, 5 years from now, 3 years from now, we could be talking about you as the greatest artist that ever came out of the joint.
I'm sorry, but, you know, they've always been an artist. They just didn't know.
Right. But just even just that, it's even the not knowing, but it's just like not knowing what's possible.
Wasted talent.
Yeah, they're not knowing. Like, you could have been the greatest basketball player there ever was, you know. And it just took us to tap into that those abilities, but with having our arms cut off, our legs cut off. You know, we had to do something else different. I couldn't sell dope no more. Right. So what I'm gonna do for my hustle? I'm gonna art. I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna write. And that's what's so beautiful about it, because what I learned when I was in environmental science. It's like everything, like we all have, everything on this earth has abilities, but it's not until they put into adversity does that ability become what they have to use, right? Cut off my arms, I have to use my legs gonna be strong, So
improvise.
Yeah, you have to improvise. And I've seen some of the coldest like I said, I've seen people take soap and make a portrait that looks so real. I couldn't believe it.
Dude, it's like an apple. They would take, I know, Sealy. Mm-hmm. This dude, a native guy, Sealy, taking an apple, and I don't know how he did it, because it's supposed to be a sharp instrument. Right? But he created faces.
Oh.
And then he'll let it rot a little bit, and then it changes, and then he would put some sort of wax used on the floor. Mm-hmm. To keep it together, and then that's how he was doing. He put hair on it. He would do all kinds of stuff on it.
Unbelievable.
On a piece of apple.
Unbelievable, and that's what I mean. Like, man, I seen so much stuff up in there, man. I can't even come out to tell you like what I seen people selling. You know what I'm saying? That I've never seen. I've never seen that ability ever in my life. You know, just people that you would never think that would have that ability. So when I heard about this and we started talking about it and I seen it in action, I was just so at awe at the fact that this was going on, because like it should be nationwide. It should be.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, it should be nationwide.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, because it's like so much talent in these facilities that needs to change the way we look at the individuals we're incarcerating and throwing the key away. So we throwing some of the greatest artists. I mean, I've seen some of the greatest art I've ever seen in my life in a joint. This is from the joint. That picture's from the joint. I bought it, sent it home to my wife and my daughter. I bought two of them because they was on Biggie, Twox. That's from the joint. That's why it's up there, man. You understand?
Yeah, I seen that the other day.
Yeah, that's why I got it up there, man. I sent it home to my wife. She was like, "Oh, this is a little bit too provocative for your daughter," you know. But I was like, "Man, it was drawn in the joint," you know. So it's been a journey. It's been a real big journey for me, and that's where the podcast come out. What's in the future for you? What do you see yourself doing in the future?
This summer, definitely trying to do a lot more projects. Trying to get some murals done. On the west side. I'm trying to get something done on the west side. Possibly anywhere. It could be Alaska. I'll go paint something up on the wall.
Yeah.
We're out here. We're trying to promote our business, or our movement. But I just got a job tattooing at my boys' company, so I'm going to be doing that all summer. I DJ on the weekends, cut hair.
You man, all trade, man. You know what I'm saying?
In the jam, You know how to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Cut hair, cook, you do it all, man. I'll show you how to do something. I'll show you how to, all that.
Put the creases in the pants, the whole deal. The demo.
Yo, let's make a book, a cookbook when all the recipes, all the recipes.
That's some of the other stuff that people can make some dishes.
Oh, inside.
Up in there.
Cookies and cakes.
Yeah,
and cheesecake.
everything.
Creativity, that's the whole thing. It's all about creativity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just gotta say, man, I'm just fucking floored that I'm hanging out with two cats, man, that I used to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And today, man, that's what I'm saying, that it's possible that we all could come together to the table and have a conversation, work together, create together. We could do it. It's possible. We just have to give it the opportunity and give it a chance.
Yeah, and I think that's very important. Now the climate. Well, I wouldn't say the climate. I just think that right now, it's people are looking at individuals coming out a lot different than they used to, right? Yeah. And they want to see them do better. And we're seeing individuals come out and do better, right? So I believe it's a change. I think Art from the Inside is a great project, a great movement. It should have been done a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? It's great that it's getting done now. So if this bill that you're looking at does pass, what can we look for now? Like you said, more dance, more. Is it now? Can I write for a grant to come into prison? How does that work? How do you?
So the bill passes, which I'm pretty sure is going to pass. That I'm hoping that it's going to open the doors not only for Art for the Inside, but for any other organization that's trying to come into the institutions and bring in positive programming. And it's going to help find healing. It's going to try to, create community. It's going to, restore people and show them that they're more than what their worst mistake was. That's the whole thing.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we all have to try to do. Mm. And not only that for the incarcerated, but also for the staff that comes in to see the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, transformation it's not just for those who are incarcerated. It's for staff. It's for the community. It's for the government. How we see each other. You know, how I don't understand how billions of dollars go to different countries, but we don't invest in the place where they really need to invest that money.
Right. Definitely. That's a good point. Excellent point. I say too the fact that giving a person something to do, right, it eliminates a lot of security issues, right? Because if I'm like I always looked at it when I was going to college. Yeah. I didn't want to get into any trouble because I knew I was going to college. It was going to benefit me, right? And I was focused in on it. I was disciplined to the fact that I didn't want to get into altercation over nothing because I wanted this college degree was something more important. And I look at drawing the same way when I was writing, when I was in those MPWW classes. I tried to get into art because I knew that if I was in art, I would come out with some form of something. I seen these beautiful paintings people were making. I wanted to be able to utilize that. So I've always said that, you give me something, and then that in itself, if I'm sitting in that cell 24/7, when I get out, I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? But if you give me something that I can constructively do, I'm using that time in the cell, I'm dissipating some energy, some anger. I put a lot of angry words down on paper, and it stayed on that paper. It didn't come out when you came to my cell and opened my door, and we got into it because of whatever. I'm still frustrated because I wasn't able to dissipate that energy.
I was smart. I told you next guy to go open that door. I said, you open that door.
And because I've been sitting there, so I come back, so I get on violation. I come back to Stillwater right after all that situation. They're still on lockdown. Boy, they haven't had showers in like 2 months, type deal. And I seen that, like you said, I seen that despair, that people with hurt feelings, trauma. Like you said, you're punishing the wrong people. All these individuals. With 90% of the people going out the industry were going out the industry. 90% of programming, people were going to programming. So I experienced that. It's such a great thing to see that out of that, something like this comes out. That's the story, right? That's the story. That we can actually take something as horrible as what happened and produce something as beautiful as this.
Well, that's one of the things that, you know, I really am driven, is that through his sacrifice, losing his life, something good has to come out of it.
Beautiful, like a rose, something grew
It has to
from
happen.
that. Something grew.
And I'm not gonna stop until, you know, I feel satisfied that I could see the rose, you know, blossom. You know, but you know, it's a road.
It's a cross that you picked up, you carried.
I pick it up every day.
Yeah, you carry it beautifully, and it was like I said. They always say that God wouldn't give you anything that He didn't think. You know what I'm saying?
That could happen.
So you it was meant for you, and it was meant for you to touch this brother over here.
It was meant for us to hang
It's
out
meant
today.
for us to get together. I mean, this is all like we didn't see it when we was in. I was angry. I was mad. So if this man had came up to holler at me, would have been problems because I seen him as a problem. But right now it's just so beautiful. Right now we can sit next to each other and talk about a future, talk about a better situation, talk about helping people behind the wall.
Not only talking about it,
but do
being a verb, being an action.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we can sit. We have enough maturity to sit down and conversate, but we have enough fortitude to go out and make something happen.
And not only that, but just reflect about what was to what is,
what possible,
and what could possibly be.
Yeah, and that's unbelievable because as I sat in those cells, you know, my first part of my being, you probably can testify to it. I didn't think there was anything possible for me at all. You know what I'm saying? I was just aggravated and upset and mad, and eventually, you know, I was eventually, like I said, tried figuring out who I was as a person. You know, my fatherly duties, I understood those a little bit better because not having my children around me, not being able to be there for birthdays, you know, calling up on Christmas, not being able to be there changed my life. And I didn't want to be, not so much like you talked about, you know, I didn't want to be that absent father. I want to make sure that my children knew who I was and be able to take care of them. That's how we felt. We all fathers, we all uncles, we all everything. Mm-hmm. So it really, really, really changed my life. And I'm so glad that we were able to connect on this level and actually be pushing something forward. Any final statements? Man, I'm gonna give you the floor. Then I'm gonna give my man the floor. We can just tell us what you.
Shout out to what you doing, bro.
Appreciate
this is what's up, man.
Yeah.
And everybody that was in the water with us, anybody that was in the DLC with us, BOP. Yeah. If you out here making moves, do your thing, man. There ain't no looking back, man. Because we doing boss things on a legit scale. This is what it's about.
Yes,
you got a little bit of mind, a little bit of brains, a little bit of game, a little bit of swag. You can make it happen, man.
Ooh, we
stick to it. Stick to the grind. We here are from the inside.
Are from the inside, yes, sir. Go ahead, Antonio. Give me that. Give me it.
My thing is, you know, I love this. This is what community is supposed to be. This is what community is supposed to be.
Yeah.
We were in a different community, and now we're in the outside community, and we're chopping it up, and we're fellowshipping, we're sharing, we're reflecting, we're humble. You know, we're trying to collaborate. You know, and that's what we're supposed to be as human beings. So, you know, I thank you for inviting me and inviting my friend here to come out over here and speak with you guys about, you know, the project, about me, about, you know, what we all should be doing as human beings and community members. It's so important that we all of us, you know, people in legislation, through government, start to understand that we are all human, that we all make mistakes, that we all need second chances, third chances, fourth chances, fifth chances.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And those who are making those mistakes, you have to change too.
Yeah,
definitely. You know what I'm saying? It's a community thing. So thank you, sir, for having me and Ricardo to the pit.
This IGSTS, they're in the grill pit. This is the studio. You understand? We get down. I'm SAF Mo, your prison lawyer. We are the voice of the voiceless. This is IGSTS. This is episode 61. We doing it. I appreciate these gentlemen coming out, break bread with me, chop it up with me. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, I was an angry individual. Now, you know, I'm living life. Things beautiful now. You know what I'm saying? The smoothest podcast host in podcast history. I want to shake this man's hand. You know what I'm saying? and shake this man's hand. You know what I'm saying? Brotherhood, and I appreciate them starting out, give me their time and chopping it up with me. That's a wrap.
Chad. You're Ron. What do you got to say about SAF Mo saying white MFers?
I don't give a fuck what anybody says because it's America and you should be able to do and say what the fuck you want. God bless America.